Crews continue sampling waters near a farm in Bladen County. Nearly 30,000 gallons of hog waste spilled when a pipe burst near Ammon 11 days ago.
The North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality says that's because the level of bacteria in the water near the Murphy Brown farm is higher than the state standard. WECT's Zach Solon spoke with environmental experts about the impact this could have on the community. Zach, it could be a long time before the water in Little Turnbull Creek is back to normal.
That's right, Fran. Some of the water samples collected from the spill site last week show bacteria contamination levels more than 3 times higher than the state standard. The spill happened January 27th, and samples taken 3 days later showed the heightened levels of fecal coliform colonies in some areas near the spill. The DEQ says sampling in that area will continue. I spoke with Jill Howell, the Pamlico Tar Riverkeeper at Sound Rivers. That's a nonprofit environmental group in North Carolina. She says exposure to this contaminated water could create health problems for both humans and animals. Howell says despite cleanup efforts, the remnants of the spill will remain for some time.
It's liquid waste, a lot of it, so you can't remove that out of the water. It's sort of just a dissipation downstream. So once it's in the water, it's super hard to remove. So hopefully there will be some repairs at this facility, and whatever issues happen there, they will address so that this doesn't occur again.
A spokesperson for Smithfield Foods says a pipe failure at the Murphy Brown farm off Old Fayetteville Road caused the spill and said, quote, to prevent future discharges of this type, all repairs and installations of HDPE pipe will be pressure tested before being placed in operation. Farm personnel will be retrained on a daily inspection of pipes and on procedures for managing secondary contaminants, end quote. The state is in the process of finalizing a notice of violation for the spill, and we're told it should be available soon. Zach Solon, WECT News.